guys, welcome back. It's Retro Killscreen Podcast. I'm Paul, and with me is John.
Yo.
And it's been a long day for both of us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear it more in him than me, but...
Yep.
So...
Today's a day full of bad decisions.
You were playing a lot of games?
Yeah, I won't talk about what exactly was that one specific bad decision because I won't be up for a while.
Okay,
But
fair enough.
I will say it's something in video format that will be up at some point. Not on
your
my
channel?
I don't know. I don't think it'll be on my channel. I think it'll be on someone else's.
Fair
But
enough.
I'll link to it via Twitter and usual YouTube stuff.
It should be interesting, I guess.
It was interesting to do. I'll say that at the least.
Because I haven't seen you do those specific things in a long time, so...
Yeah, I surprised myself during.
Were you out
this
of practice?
I did not practice. Period.
Yeah, so you were out of practice.
Yeah, which the funny thing is, I'll tell you something about it afterwards. But I did something that I don't think I've ever done before in the game, like very good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I'll tell you about that after.
you didn't completely botch it then?
Okay,
Okay, fair enough. We'll leave it at that. We're not here to talk about whatever the hell it is you did that I know, but nobody else can know yet.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about your choice from 2 weeks ago, Streets of Rage 1,
Yeah.
which I both am happy you chose and hate you for because the controls in that game are absolutely terrible.
It's rough, but it's
It
fun.
takes getting used to again, for sure. They're not smooth at all. And I was unfortunately playing alone,
Ooh.
and that's not fun. Like, those games are not nearly as fun when you don't have a co-op partner with you. So, I'm just gonna say straight out that I kept dying at the twins, Mona and Lisa, on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So I have not recently seen the end of the game, probably not since I was a kid, and I used to play with my brother. So I can't really talk about the end of the game. I do know that, if I remember correctly, the main boss guy, they say here his name is simply Mr. X.
Yep.
He's just like, hey, you're pretty good, you want to join the gang? And you can choose yes or no.
Yep.
And,
That dictates if you get a good ending or a bad ending.
yeah, like, I always chose no and just fought him.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happens if you choose yes? Because I've never actually seen that.
I gotta remember how this goes now. I forget it. I think if you're by yourself, he pulls a trap door and sends you back down to stage 7.
Oh, what a jerk. Okay.
I think I might be remembering that wrong, but I know in 2-player, you actually have to. If you both agree, I think he pulls the trap door.
Okay.
But if one of you says yes and one of you says no, you have to fight each other to the death.
You have to fight your partner?
Mhm.
That's amazing.
If the guy who said yes wins, then he oh shit, I forget if he either gets sent back a stage or if he has to fight Mr. Big then, or gets another message. But basically, you say like you want to join him, but then you threaten to beat him essentially.
Okay.
So that's how you get the bad endings. You basically become the crime lord.
Now, was this the first side-scrolling beat-em-up game of its kind to do this?
To do like the alternate ending thing?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Because I can't... I mean, it's hard for me to even think of that style game that came out before it. So, maybe?
Final Fight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think that did it, though.
No.
I think that was just cut clean. Like, you finish it.
Final Fight was straightforward.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess, who's your main playable character you usually go with?
Axel.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, dude's awesome. I especially love his like "ah" yell.
And people always think it's weird, I guess.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Every time I tell people that, like, or I just choose Axel, they're like, why aren't you choosing Adam? I'm like,
I've never had anyone say that to my face.
I don't know. Yeah, okay. That's weird then. Or Blaze. A lot of people do choose Blaze that I've played with.
Yeah, I don't. I like Axel because he's the most balanced out of the three, I believe. I think what is his lower stat? Is it jumping or running?
Probably jumping. He feels fast enough.
Yeah, no, I think he doesn't have like a dive kick like everyone else does. He just has like that weird knee.
Yeah, right,
That's what
right,
it is. Yeah.
right. So were you able to play this week?
No, I wasn't. But
Yeah,
I've beaten Streets of Rage so many times, or I played through it a bunch, so it's still pretty fresh in my mind.
yeah. Um, what was your favorite stage?
Ah, I can tell you right now my least favorite was probably the machine stage.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I'd probably say the elevator stage is my most favorite.
All right. That's one I wasn't able to get to see again.
Basically, yeah, you get on a giant elevator going straight up, and you have to keep fighting all these enemies the whole time. Like you'll get to a couple floors, fight a bunch of enemies, and then move on and keep going like that.
Hmm.
I forget if you have to walk through a hallway at the beginning at first, or if that's me confusing it with Streets of Rage 2. I think you're straight on the elevator.
Right. I guess my favorite stage is what is it? I'm third stage, the beach.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just love the water. The water in that game always gets me. I don't know why. It's just
with the little noise like that.
yeah, and just the look of it and everything. It's just really represents in my mind that era of video games, specifically Sega games, because a lot of those Sega games kind of looked similar, had a similar look going for them.
Yeah,
Um, and that boss is really weird. Apparently, his name is Abadide, whatever, whatever.
that's quite the name.
The
Oh,
wrestler
the
guy.
wrestler. Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought he was like warrior or something like that.
that's what it's saying on this list here is his name, but I don't know why. I'm sure they
Oh
must
no,
make
the
mention to
song
it.
name is Attack of the Barbarian, so maybe that's what I was confusing it with.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's like the boss theme.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when he first pops onto the scene there, because he's bigger than the other guys you faced up to that point. But he's also, I've always found him much easier. I always get the second boss with the claws. I always seem to get hit numerous times from him. I don't know why. I've seen people take him out easily before, and I never have an easy time with him.
Okay, yeah. So I'm looking up the ending thing on Wiki. It says the good ending can be achieved by simply completing the game. The bad ending can only be achieved in two-player mode when the final boss is confronted. When you ask him, you only ask to join him. One player says yes, the other says no. He'll tell the player who said yes to prove his loyalty by killing the other player. If the player who said yes wins the fight and then turns down the boss's final offer, he must fight the boss alone. If he succeeds, the bad ending will play, where the character sits on the final boss's chair with the text, "You became the boss. You were great."
Nice.
After the credits roll, the character laughs and the word "bad end" appear.
Weird. So no matter what, you're getting the bad end? Or
Yeah,
is it
and
just under the condition that you kill your partner?
kill your partner, then say no to his offer or something like that. It
Okay.
says here, however, if both players say yes, or if it's chosen in one player, the boss will then ask to test the player's loyalty and sends them back to an earlier stage to fight, and they must replay the game from that level.
That that doesn't make sense to me. Like I know video games, but
Yeah.
why would someone be like, "I'm gonna test your loyalty, so kill all my dudes"? That doesn't make sense to me. That's the worst boss ever. Worst boss to work for, I should say, not like end game boss. I don't know.
Either way, yeah.
Either way. So why did you choose Streets of Rage 1?
It's personally one of my favorite Genesis games. Like for some reason, the song in the first stage always sticks with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't that part of your panel too? I think you had that song in there.
I feel like at some point I had it in there. Yeah.
It just seems familiar to me somehow. I don't know. It seems like something you would do anyways.
Yeah.
I
No, I think you're right.
and I love the opening scene of the city. The
Mm.
way that's rendered is just beautiful even to this day. I love it.
The fight to the death here on the streets of
The
Rage.
streets of rage. Yeah, so good.
I'm just trying to think here now. Like, what did you think of the soundtrack in general?
From what I was able to play through again and remember, it's really, really good. Um, it's one of those soundtracks that I don't seem to hear a lot of bands covering, and I don't really know why, because I think it would sound badass covered with a full band.
See, now I think you should try out Streets of Rage remake, or at least just listen to some of the music of it,
Okay.
because it's really well done. Let me see if I can find the remix of that first stage song, because that's probably one that I used to listen to on loop at work
Okay.
for a long time.
So they redid everything in that remake then, huh?
Yeah, well, sort of. Streets of Rage remake was a third party game, like just a bunch of fans of the game made it.
Yeah.
They took all the sprites from Streets of Rage 2 and 3, edited a bunch to make them their own, and basically they took all four Streets of Rage games, or I guess five technically,
Yeah.
the three Genesis ones and the two Game Gear ones, and then mix them all into one game.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
Okay. How
like you go,
how did they do that?
just they made up their own engine and everything.
Like, did they just pick and choose this level from this and this level from this, or is it all of these levels from this game and then these ones?
All of these levels from all of the games.
Oh, crazy. Okay.
Every stage from every game is in there, and you can actually swap between games essentially partway through the story. And that game has like 10 or 12 different endings, maybe 8,
Wow.
but it's got like a lot of different endings. It was really well put together for a fan-made game.
Now, did they release that for free or did they charge for it?
They released it for free,
That's crazy.
but like they've been working on it for years. Like the latest version came out was version 5, I believe.
Okay.
But Sega found out once it finally got finished and asked them to remove it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was out for download for like 2 days maybe, and then Sega was like, remove it. So
Why
now
would
it's
they
just
do that?
because they still own copyright on the games, even though like it was completely non for profit.
And it's not like Sega's doing anything worth mentioning now.
No, well, the only thing they've done with Street of Rage is keep re-releasing it. Like
Yeah,
the
that's true.
trilogy, the trilogy came out on XBLA a couple months ago.
It's actually
actually-
on sale for right now too.
Yeah, for $400 or 400 Microsoft points.
$400.
Sorry, I keep forgetting they don't use dollars in XBLA.
Quite the sale.
Yeah.
Good going, Sega. It's more expensive than the Wii U. Streets of Rage, but you get all three of them. So with the Wii U, you don't get any of them
Well, technically, you can access the Wii Shop on the Wii U.
technically, but then you have to buy them again.
Unless you transfer them from your other Wii.
Yeah, I don't have them on my Wii though.
I have Streets of Rage 1 on my Wii. I'm tempted to transfer it over, and I'm at the same time I'm kind of worried about it
Yeah.
because I think the only thing I'm really worried about that's holding me back is Brawl.
Oh
Because
yeah.
if I move that over there, my save gets moved over there, and I can no longer use GameCube controllers. Which, I mean, when the new Brawl comes out, I have no choice regardless. Or the new
Right.
Smash Brothers, not the new Brawl.
Right. So I tried Streets of Rage a couple different ways actually when I was playing it these last 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah?
I have the Sega collection on Steam that came out, and it's on that they kind of cleaned it up a little bit. It doesn't play as well though, or at least it didn't feel like it played as well for me. And then I went to an emulated version of the original, and then that was fine. That worked fine. And then I tried the Sonic Ultimate Sega Collection Bundle, whatever the hell they call it. There's
On its Genesis collection or whatever.
yeah, the Genesis collection, and it's on there, and I'm pretty sure it's the exact same cleanup or redo they did for the Steam version. So
I think actually the Steam version of most of those games are just ports of that version.
okay, yeah, probably because
Although I think there's a couple games. Yeah, I think there's a couple games that's on that collection or that's on Steam that weren't in that collection, like Gunstar Heroes.
Oh, okay, yeah, so that explains why that felt so weird. Also, I guess the thing that the Sega or the collection, I have it on PS3, so I get to use the PS3 D-pad when I played on that, and when I use the emulator, I play with a 360 D-pad, which is terrible. So I guess that probably has something to do with it too, but I guess that's neither here nor there. Yeah, those twins, dude. Fuck.
Yeah, no, they were probably my least favorite boss out of all of them. And sometimes the fire guys because I'd accidentally try to pick them up.
The what? Sorry.
The fire guys, the dudes who breathe fire.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not a big fan of them either.
Mm.
And they're in like all of them, right? In all this,
They're
all
easier to deal with than the later ones.
yeah. It kind of all this has done has made me want to revisit the other two.
I've actually never played through Streets of Rage 3. Apparently that one had like branching paths and everything.
Oh, weird. Okay. Yeah, I don't
And,
know.
and supposedly the version we got here had like a weakened story compared to the Mega Drive one.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, apparently there's like a story about like clones and like terrorist bombings of cities and something like that. I can't remember what it is in the North American one.
Okay, so now this remake, I do want to try this out for sure.
Hmm.
Is this a legal thing to download though?
What do you mean by a legal thing to download?
A legal, like, is it legal to download because there was a cease and desist or whatever?
The cease and desist basically took it off of the Streets of Rage remakes website. But as far as I know of, you can just if you can find a copy of it, you can download it, or I could just hand you a copy of it because I think I have the install still here.
Okay, well, if you're able to find that link, I'll put it in the show notes, and if it's not there, anybody wanting to try it will have to find their own avenue to get that, I guess. But yeah,
But yeah, like if you like Streets of Rage at all, I highly recommend playing Streets of Rage remake. It's very well done.
yeah. Well, I look forward to that anyways. Um, do we want to rate it? I don't know. As I've been going through just ideas in my mind, the whole rating video game system out of like a number has become just such an arbitrary thing to me. But I don't know. I guess some people like it. Should we rate it? Maybe?
If you want to, sure.
Okay, what would you give it out of 10?
Probably an 8.
Okay. I don't have as much nostalgia for this game as you obviously do.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, from what I remember playing when I was younger, playing with like a friend or my brother or whatever, I probably would have given it a solid 8 or 9. Playing it alone, like my experience this last 2 weeks, I'm probably going to have to say it's a 6.
Okay, fair enough.
I think if I had been playing with somebody else, it would have been at least a 7, though. So that's something to take into consideration. If you're going to play it, it might be in your best interest to play it with somebody, preferably of the same skill and temperament as you. But
I feel like that goes with all beat 'em ups, though, to some extent.
yeah, I totally agree. Like Scott Pilgrim, for example.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
Scott Pilgrim. I just can't wait till they start posting the videos where we start having issues. Which I think is actually episode 2, which is not posted by the time we're talking about this, but it's probably posted by the time this episode goes up.
By the time this episode goes up, probably episode 5 will be up.
Shite. Is he posting on the weekends? I thought he was doing it Monday to Friday.
Yeah, but we're recording Wednesday night,
Oh, okay.
and then Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, I guess 4.
Yeah,
Episode
I guess
4.
you're right. Never mind.
But I can't wait until it gets to the point where some people are randomly just throwing stuff, and everyone else is just kind of stopped and just stopped talking because of anger. So things got grim in some
Oh
spots.
man, just like if you need to see that walkthrough. Oh my god, such a bad playthrough.
So yeah, check that out on youtube.com/theawfulgamerhd.
A glowing review as always.
If nothing else, it should be entertaining to watch us hate each other. I think that is what I've decided is the main draw to this series now. It's not necessarily like you have the, what is it, two best friends play thing, you have the Game Grumps, and you have like you guys, the Runaway guys and stuff, and each group is kind of playing through games and you're getting their personalities and like their friendship and that whole thing. Or with you guys, you're doing basically a 4-player Let's Play at the same time.
Mm.
With us, it is literally watching friendships deconstruct in front of your eyes through video game. It's like if we were all bad temperamented people, we probably wouldn't be able to keep this series going.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with that.
So, again, youtube.com/TheAwfulGamerHD to watch friendships dissipate into nothingness. For your pleasure.
For your pleasure.
And I have no more closing thoughts, I guess, for Streets of Rage. So, if you can find a copy of it, which is pretty much impossible not to throw a rock and hit a copy of this fucking game.
I think it's even on iOS at this point by now.
Yeah, probably. I have my phone somewhere here. I think when we stop recording, I will see in the store to see if there's some emulated version that they're selling for like $3 or something.
Yeah.
This game is not hard to find. People should probably play it at least once if they haven't.
Yeah, it's on 360, PS3, Wii, and I guess now Wii U.
Like emulation. There's apparently that badass remake.
Yeah,
Shit's
Steam.
everywhere. Shit's
Yeah.
everywhere, dude. It's everywhere.
Oh, man.
All right. So, what will we be playing 2 weeks from now?
All right, 2 weeks from now is going to be interesting. We have not covered this system at all so far, but I feel like
Has
we
it
might have
become obvious to people yet what we're doing?
probably not. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so we decided just kind of off the cuff a week ago that we're going to be covering one game from every console generation that we consider retro. So that's why we had the NES, we had the Super NES game, now the Genesis game.
Well, I mean, this is the second Genesis game we've done.
Yeah, we also did 2 NES games, but those don't count,
And
remember?
and we did 2 SNES games as well.
They don't count. So we have to do 2 of each, is what you're saying.
Oh, God. I can't think of 2. Oh, no, I could think of 2. Never mind. Next time, we are going to be doing the TurboGrafx 16.
Great.
I know.
Everybody just turned off the podcast.
Pretty well, I mean, come on. If we're going to talk retro, we got to start going a little obscure.
You have to go with that one, I think. Because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure every gaming enthusiast at one point has either seen a game from that era on the TurboGrafx, has heard of it, or maybe if they're lucky or old enough, has actually played it.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, too, we've already stated that next week's episode is Sonic CD.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're already going with Sega CD for obscurity, so...
I also caught a little bit of flack for that.
What?
I'm gonna say the Sonic CD thing. A few people have been like, "So why not Sonic 2?" And another guy was just like, "I didn't like Sonic CD. The level design was real bad."
Huh.
Like people have been messaging me and just kind of been like, "Why?" So
I did not know that. Wow.
yeah,
I'm curious to see how it...
it's a good game. Damn it! Everybody knows 2 is good. We're not here to just kiss the ass of good games. People need to know Sonic CD was decent.
To be fair, pretty much every game we played so far has been pretty good.
I know. It's just because we have impeccable taste, though. So why don't you announce the next game?
We're playing through, I think the first game I played on the TurboGrafx 16, and probably the one that many have played, but I've actually never finished this, so I'm curious to see how it goes. Keith Courage in Alpha Zones.
Woo!
So that was the pack-in game for the TurboGrafx. So
Right. How much was the TurboGrafx back then? Wasn't it outlandishly expensive?
I think so. I want to say it was like $100 more than the SNES or something like that. So it was like $250.
And there was like literally no games for it that people were very interested in.
All I ever heard about was like Bonk, Fighting Street, Keith Courage, and like one of the pinball games.
That's crazy. That's all they had to go on.
I mean, there's more than that out there, obviously. Like, apparently the system had a lot of good spaceship shooters.
Yeah.
But anyone I ever talked to, all they ever knew about was Keith Courage and some other random games.
totally was just a system that appealed to the sect of people there is now that just
See,
want
the
the
funny
new
thing is,
hotness.
I think actually the PC engine, which was the TurboGrafx in Japan,
Yep.
did better than the Genesis.
In Japan, probably, though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, everything does better in Japan because they're not afraid to spend money on games.
Mm.
They're not afraid to love. Like,
We can't do that here.
like all of us.
We have to find stuff like that.
I know. That's why we have to play Castlevania 3. That's why we have to play Sonic CD and not Sonic 2.
For love.
For love.
That's so beautiful.
Think about that, and we'll talk to you next week.
It's so beautiful.
See you guys later.
You're right.